To most people, Cinco de Mayo is just a day for tacos and tequila. And maybe a mariachi band if you're feeling a little extra festive. But buried beneath the sombreros and drink specials is a day that's always been about something deeper. Resistance. Resistance against an empire. Resistance against injustice. Resistance against impossible odds. Which is obviously going to bring us to today's story, Meg. Are you into this? That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I think I got everybody hooked. Hooked, line, sinker, as if we're out there opening day of walleye or bass fishing. Pretty wild, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I figured, happy Cinco de Mayo. Are we drinking ourselves something festive and Mexican? Nope. But, full disclosure, the day of the recording, it's happy, May the 4th be with you, nerds. It's the May 4th. But we're having some beverages, celebrating Cinco de Mayo, because, well, we're adults and we have to work all day tomorrow, so we won't just get to have extra tacos and tequila and all that good stuff. So I said, you know what? Let's try to find a story that's a little bit about Cinco de Mayo, and this is what I found. And I think I'm ready if you are.
I am ready.
Okay, and viewer discretion and listener discretion is advised. There may be some gruesome topics, some adult-style stuff, or maybe not, but there is 100% going to be a bunch of words that I cannot say right. So be prepared to laugh as Meg is here. And how rude of me to not introduce the Dun Dun Queen, the beautiful Meg, who is off camera still because we haven't hit our $50,000 a year goal yet. So how's things, Meg? You good?
I'm good.
You excited for Cinco de Mayo or just another day? You have to remember to wear your festive taco earrings.
Oh, yeah.
I can only remind you so many times.
Okay. I'm going to try to remember to get them out as soon as we're done.
Should I set a reminder in the phone?
Yeah, please
Okay.
do. I've had them for like probably 4 years, 3 years, 4 years.
I haven't worn them yet.
I keep forgetting they're still in the package.
So this is a witness so everybody can be. Set a reminder today in 1 hour to have Meg grab her taco earrings. Boom. There it is. Reminder has been sent. There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You want to jump into this?
Yeah.
Should we do the intro or skip it?
Do it.
Do it?
Yeah.
All right.
Weather's
we should
nice.
do this. It is nice. When do you want to do it?
No.
On February 7th, 1985, 8 days before I made my presence on this universe, there was a Mexican-American DEA agent named Enrique Kiki Camarena. He walked out of the U.S. consulate in Guadalajara and never came back. He was abducted, tortured, murdered. Not...
Dun, dun.
Ooh, getting the dun-dun in. The dun-dun queen strikes again.
I went early this time.
I like it. Maybe we'll have a double dun-dun. And he wasn't just abducted, tortured, murdered, not just by cartel, but by a system. One laced with corruption, protected by politics, and possibly, just possibly, Meg, complacent. Oh, I said that right. I said that wrong. Whew. Hit me up. You got me here. I think I just had a stroke. Complicit on both sides of the border. This isn't just a true crime case. This is the spark that changed the U.S. drug war forever.
Forever.
Classic movie. In this Cinco de Mayo, while the world celebrates resilience, we're going to honor a man who lived it right up to his final breath. They already know, but this is the Yore Town Podcast, and I'm ready, because today we remember the hero that they couldn't silence. Man, I'm fired up for this one. Can you hear it in my voice?
I can.
Let's tell them who...
Radiating off you.
Ooh, let's tell them all about Kiki. I love saying that, too. Born on July 26, 1947 in Mexicali, Mexico, Kiki moved with his family to Calexico, California. when he was a child. After serving in the U.S. Marine Corps, he became a police officer, a fireman, and eventually joined the DEA in 1974. Kiki, he was known for his integrity, his work ethic, and his fearless attitude. In an era where the war on drugs was escalating, he volunteered to take one of the most dangerous assignments possible, working undercover in Guadalajara, Mexico, or Mexico. How do you say it?
Me personally?
Yes, you personally. No, the other person in the studio.
Mexico?
Mexico, yeah. It's always interesting, like when you get these people that think, or maybe they took some Spanish. Like I took 4 years of Spanish. I can't. That was like at a kindergarten level. But I'm not going to go to like a Mexican restaurant and be like, yes, hi, can I have el taco de Mexico? And I'm going to try to like Spanish it up. Do you know people that do that?
We all took French, so.
Oh, oui. All right. Well, anyway.
We weren't offered Spanish courses. Just French and Latin.
They messed up. Spanish is like, isn't that one of probably top 3 most spoken languages in the entire world? Besides like Mandarin and potentially English?
But I think the reason that we had French and Latin back when I was in school,
back in my day,
previous to me being in school, was because of how close we are to the border, and there's a lot of French-speaking Canadians.
They thought there's not that many,
but
there's one province.
I don't know,
and nobody goes to that province because they suck. The French are jerks.
I don't know.
Oui. Let's move on. Tacos are better.
I mean, they speak French other places in Canada.
Sure.
They speak French in Cape Breton.
Cool. Sure. I get you. Makes so much sense. On to the story.
Okay.
So at this time, Guadalajara, far from Canada, was a hub for the world's most powerful drug traffickers. The city was home to the Guadalajara cartel, a criminal organization with, well, near total control over the production and distribution of marijuana, cocaine, heroin from Mexico to the United States. The cartel's leadership included Miguel Angel Felix Gallardo, nicknamed the Godfather of Mexican drug trafficking, alongside Ernesto Fonseca Carrillo and Rafael Caro Quintero. These men were not just drug lords. They had deep connections with law enforcement, the military, and possibly foreign intelligence networks. Why are you laughing at me? Did I do pretty good?
I think you did well.
Isn't it weird? I can say Spanish names better than American.
I think it worked because you went through them quickly.
Is that the thing?
I don't know if they're correct, but you didn't stop after.
My 4 years of Espanol is really muy bueno. Let's fast forward to
You didn't hesitate.
I didn't hesitate. I went all in. Yeah. I sold it. Fake it till you make it. November 1984, we're fast forwarding a few months, and after months of dangerous undercover work, Kiki helped identify and lead Mexican soldiers to Rancho Bufalo, a massive marijuana plantation hidden in the desert of Chihuahua. I don't know. I was thinking it was Chihuahua. Like, yo quiero Taco Bell.
I think that is Chihuahua.
Oh, there's a lot of H's, a lot of U's, and a lot of A's. Can I buy a vowel, Alex?
I think it is Chihuahua.
Chihuahua? Chihai?
You kind of got stuck on it, though.
I just had fun with it. I went with it. I sold it. I'm faking it till I'm making it.
Hit a record skip.
Could you imagine having to be undercover in the most powerful cartel potentially in the world?
Nope.
Holy cow. And there's a lot of people out there still doing this work. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. All right. So this plant, Meg, it wasn't just a few acres. It was 2,500 acres, and an operation that was powered by irrigation systems, laborers, and even guards with military-grade weapons, probably just like you see in the movies. Mm-hmm. But guess what? The value of the destroyed marijuana was over $8 billion with a B. And, well, that bust severely disrupted the cartel's operations. Yeah, you lose $8 billion, somebody's in trouble. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Camarena had struck a critical blow, but it came at a price. From that moment, his fate was sealed. Surveillance teams were ordered to watch him. Informants inside the cartel confirmed that a decision had been made. Kiki was a threat, and Kiki had to be eliminated. He was being followed constantly. The U.S. consul staff noticed strange vehicles loitering, but the Mexican authorities, despite mounting concern, you know what they did, Meg? Nothing. And Kiki, he told his wife, I'm not sure I'll be coming home. That's tough. You know, and it's my first thought too, obviously, before we get into, the abduction and everything else, how this unfolds, is $8 billion. I mean, they took a lot of drugs off the street, potentially saved some lives. And whether, things are a little bit different today around the world with the acceptance of marijuana, you got to remember this is the 80s. It was seen as a federal crime in the U.S., and took $8 billion worth of drugs off the streets. And it just sucks because now somebody has to pay. And I mean, he's the $8 billion guy. He's always going to go down in history. And it just sucks the way that this went down. Because on February 7th, 1985, Kiki left the U.S. consul at around 2 p.m. He had plans to meet his wife for lunch. But he never showed Meg. Witnesses, they reported that he was abducted just a few blocks away by men who identified themselves as Mexican Federal Judicial Police officers. The men, they pulled him into the car without resistance. Another American, Alfredo Zavala, a Mexican pilot working in the DEA, unfortunately was also abducted. Kiki was then taken to the house at 881 Lope de Vega in the Zapopan district. Nailed that. That house, now infamous, was used as a cartel torture site, shielded from interference by complicit officials. Boom! That word didn't get me this time.
Nailed it.
Whoop, whoop. The DEA and U.S. officials were stonewalled by Mexican authorities who denied knowledge or delayed action for critical days. I don't buy it. I have a feeling, this is my opinion, the Mexican authorities were in on this. I have to imagine $8 billion in business. That government's got their hands in the cookie jar, I would imagine, and say, hey, we're going to let some things slide. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That's a weird saying. Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
I mean, have you ever came out in public and just watched a couple of adults just scratching each other's backs? Hey, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, big boy. Hey, buddy, scratch my back, I'll scratch.
That's pretty weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how would you do? Would it be like you're facing each other, hugging each other, scratching each other's backs? You can't go back to back to scratch each other's backs, right? How would you do it? Almost like a hug?
I feel like it would be like you're trying to itch and you can't reach this button and be like, hey, help me out real quick.
No, I understand, but if you were scratching my back, or do you go one at a time? Let me scratch your...
One at a time.
I guess my brain multitasks all the time.
Definitely one at a time.
One at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know, listeners. How would you scratch your back, scratch my back? That didn't come out right. Let's talk about the torture tape. Speaking of tape, have you seen a bunch of videos where people are putting tape on their mouths? Apparently it's a new thing when you go to sleep.
Yeah, it's called, yeah.
There's a bunch of different brands. One of them that came in there.
It's not new.
It's new to me seeing it on social media.
It's trending right now.
Yeah. The hostage tape was the one that I've seen. So it kind of triggered my brain. Torture tape, hostage tape. So they put the black tape on there. So you can sleep and just be a nose breather? Want to try it?
No.
Me neither. Huh. Do you think you'd snore less?
My allergies are too bad.
Not you specifically, but do you think is that the thing? People snore less? Better sleep through your nose? If we should try it, let us know. Let's talk about the torture tape. Inside the safe house, Kiki was subjected to over 30 hours of horrific torture. Oh my God, I can't. The captors recorded the session on audio tape, an eerie, grim record of a man's final hours. His interrogators wanted to know what information he had, passed on to the DEA. They demanded names, contacts, and intelligence. To keep him conscious, they would inject him with all sorts of drugs and other things to keep him going. They beat him with blunt objects and inflicted repeated trauma. The official cause of death was a crushed skull. Oh my God, that is brutal. The tape then later became a key piece of evidence that was never officially released to the public. It confirmed Kiki remained defiant to the end. His colleague, Alfredo, was murdered shortly after, in unfortunately a very similar fashion. Their bodies ended up being discovered in a shallow grave on a ranch in Michoacan a month later. That is terrible. 30 hours of torture for information. And you'd have to imagine at least, again, this is me, a guy that's never been tortured, never wants to be tortured. I wouldn't handle it. I don't think I'd survive 30 hours. But even if you give up the information in the first 5 minutes, they're still going to beat you. They're still going to kill you. There's no getting out. You might as well do the best you can. And I have to imagine they did the best that they could. Man. The murder of a DEA agent on foreign soil ignited international outrage. In response, the United States launched Operation Leyenda, led by DEA agent Mike Holm. It remains the largest and most sustained homicide investigation ever conducted by the DEA. The U.S. government placed intense pressure on Mexico to arrest those responsible. Caro Quintero was captured in Costa Rica just a few weeks later. Fonseca Carrillo and Felix Gallardo were also arrested within years. But here it is. The cracks in the system were obvious. Mexican officials obstructed investigations. Evidence was tampered with. Witnesses, well, they were intimidated. Or guess what, Meg? They just disappeared. Many believe that the cartel leaders had help from high-ranking Mexican politicians and law enforcement. Some obviously pointed to a much deeper betrayal. That's not a shocker, is it?
No.
No, you hear about this kind of stuff all the time. And like I said, when you're dealing with that was $8 billion just in marijuana. Unfortunately, you have to imagine how many billions they have in the other drugs that are going over there. When you're talking billions and billions of dollars, there's going to be some cover-ups. There's going to be some tampering. There's going to be some deaths.
Yeah.
Man, that's scary. As the years passed, a disturbing theory started to take root. That Kiki had discovered a U.S.-backed operation that involved drug money, covert arms deals, and anti-communist rebels in Central America. Ooh, that was a twist that none of us were expecting. Wait, so you're trying to say the U.S. government does sketchy things? What? No way. Multiple investigative reports, including pieces by journalist Charles Bowden and statements from former DEA agents like Hector Bareles, suggest the CIA was aware or even assisted in drug trafficking to fund the Nicaraguan Contras. Unbelievable. Again, when you're talking billions, there's some people that are going to do some sketchy things to get their hand in the old money cookie jar. So, it's a theory that was actually linked to the infamous Iran-Contra affair, which was an operation that saw weapons sold to Iran with proceeds funneled to rebel groups in Nicaragua. Some allege that cartel money was used and laundered in this process with protection from another three-letter place, the CIA. Kiki, he may have uncovered these links, and once he knew too much, once he saw too much, he wasn't just a threat to the cartel. Nope. He was a threat to covert operations far above even their pay grade. Obviously, the old US of A government is going to deny any involvement, but files remain classified, and many believe the full truth has yet to surface. Whew. What do you think, Meg? What's your thoughts on all this?
I don't know.
You got no thoughts on this? I think he knew too much.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was really good at his job, and he found out a lot of stuff. And I mean, even with the raid, he's gonna pay. But it's just crazy to me how and I couldn't find it obviously with records are, classified. There's all theories and stuff like that on how he actually was, the one that was to blame. But I think people just started getting paranoid. The blame game came out. Rumors happened. This happened. Somebody talked. And I guarantee you they started intimidating to the point where it was like, it was Kiki. It was Kiki.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Kiki and Alfredo paid the ultimate price.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for what? For what? Our government? Come on. Feel bad for him. Kiki was more than a DE agent, though, Meg. He was a father, a husband, and a man who believed in justice, even when it meant walking alone into the fire. His legacy lives on in Red Ribbon Week, a national anti-drug campaign observed every October in schools across America. He became a symbol, not just of the war on drugs, but of how far corruption can go when accountability is absent.
Mm-hmm.
So today, next year, and the year after, on Cinco de Mayo, remember, more than margaritas, remember the Marine who stood his ground, the agent who gave everything, the hero they tried to silence. This has been another episode of the Yore Town Podcast. Me and Meg, from the bottom of our heart and my beard, I want to thank you all for listening.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. Have a beverage for Kiki and Alfredo and everybody else that's fighting the good fight or the bad fight. Fighting the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine.
At the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh. That's the only way to do it. That's all we got. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your day, your week, your month, your year. This has been another episode of the Yore Town Podcast. I got nothing else, Meg. You?
No.
All right. Let's get out of here and enjoy a little bit of some sunlight. We'll see everybody next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.